We were yelling on the bank to our officers, go, 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 because we could tell she was struggling. Caleb Stratton, one of the officers on the bank that was watching through the binoculars, he was giving kind of direction. Hey, she's going under. Hey, she's back up. She's going back under. But our guys running into the boats knew this was urgent. We need to get out there. Not many times when you're out working do you have something happen right in front of you that you can actually affect some change. Sunday, June 28th, we were working Percy Priest Lake like we do every weekend through the summer. Percy Priest Lake, on a normal day, calm, no issues with wave action. The only waves you're going to find on Percy Priest Lake are from the boats. We had 8 officers over there working the lake for a little while. We came in to the core compound just off of Bell Road area above the dam. We noticed this front coming from the northwest. We also noticed some kayakers, paddleboarders, canoers, and just regular general boat traffic out on the lake. The rain never hit us, but the wind was blowing so hard that the waves were really white-capping out in the main part of this lake. So while we're kind of finishing up eating, we noticed these kayakers and canoers and paddleboarders out there struggling with this wind. Just a paddleboard with 2 people on it. They didn't have their life jackets on. We could see a life jacket on it, but they didn't have it on. And while we're watching them, this wind gust got so big that it flipped them. And a young female in the front of the paddleboard, she struggled, but she finally got back to it. And we were kind of concerned, but we were gonna at least go to our boats and go check on them. Before we could get to the boats, the wind gust whipped up even harder and flipped the paddleboard again. And this time it flipped it enough that the paddleboard started going away from them. The wind was pushing this paddleboard away from them, and they were struggling to get to it, much less stay above water. The officers jumped in the boats. The first boat tied on the end was Matt Bryan was the driver, Ethan Davis and Ricky Lyle. They're the first boat out there to them. Matt's trying to be careful because the waves are so bad he didn't want to drop the front of the boat down on them and hit her. Ricky and Ethan both leaned over the bow, and as soon as they got there, she was about to go under and they grabbed her. The young boy was still on the paddleboard. They eventually got her pulled in. They got the young boy pulled in. At that same time, you can see 2 more boats come out. Each of those boats went to rescue a canoer and another paddleboard on the lake at the same time. One of the boats was with Brad Bagwell and Jeff Serbin, and another boat was Clay Hetland, and in another boat we had Matthew Norman. All 3 of those other boats went out and rescued other people in other parts of the lake where we knew there were paddleboarders and kayakers and this type of same situation going on. That day, we picked up 6 individuals right there, and then also around the lake about 3 or 4 more other people that had been flipped over. We watched this unfold in front of us. When they got knocked off the second time, and they were already exhausted from the first time, when they got knocked off the second time, I was surprised that the young boy made it to the paddleboard. He actually made it to it. He got on it. She's still several yards away from him. When he got on it and he turned and tried to paddle to her, he wasn't gaining any ground. He was actually being pushed back across the lake. If you get knocked off, your head is this much of you sticking out of the water, and your paddleboard, your canoe, your kayak is going to be this much plus the length of it sticking out of the water. The wind's going to catch it and blow it away from you. If you're not tethered to it, it's going to get away from you, and then you're struggling without a life jacket on. And that's what we were seeing that day. When we got back to the bank and everybody was standing around talking, we were all in our group talking about it and not actually talking to them. We just couldn't believe what had just happened in front of us because we work these every year, something like this. Every year we work it, and we knew in our minds they didn't understand what had just happened. They're teenagers, they're young, they didn't understand what had just happened really, but we knew what had just happened. We just happened to be in the right place at the right time that day, or we would have been coming back later on to work a fatality. This July 4th holiday weekend, our officers are going to be out working all the local lakes. We're going to be looking for safety violations. We're going to look for life jackets, DUIs, but it's up to you as the boat owner, the boat operator, to keep a good lookout, to watch for other boaters around you, keep a safe distance. Also for the paddlecraft users, be aware of the weather conditions when you're out on the lake. If you see a front coming or know of a front coming in, go ahead and put your life jacket on. If you get flipped over by the wave action, the wind action, and your life jacket and your paddlecraft blow away from you, you're going to be in serious trouble. Put your life jacket on, it'll save your life.